We took him to the doctor. Doctor said he's fine. But he was saying, I'm not fine. I feel scared. I feel alone. You stay beside me and you say some prayer. I'm feeling scared. Whole night it went like this. Next day when we took him to the hospital, instantly he had a heart attack and he passed away.
Farid Ahmed's words of forgiveness were heard around the world following a terror attack in Christchurch, New Zealand.
I want a heart that will be full of love and will forgive lavishly.
His words and stories offer both healing and hope for the future.
If our heart is full of love, then peace will start from here.
Episode 39, New Beginnings and Endings.
When I was living with someone families for a few months, I had no idea in those days about Muslim community or Bangladeshi community. I had no idea. I went to a travel agency one day in a particular part of Auckland, and then the manager, he saw me and then he came to me and he asked me, was I a Muslim? And I said yes. So I was a young man with little bit of beard. Yeah. Some Kiwis used to say, "Are you from Iran?" No. Make another guess. Are you from Pakistan? No. Okay, but no one could make a guess that I was from Bangladesh. I don't know why. So he said, Assalamu alaikum. I said, Wa alaikum assalam. Then in Bengali he said, how are you? I mean, kemon achen. So in Bengali, kemon achen. How are you? I thought he was from Bangladesh. And I said, yes, ami bhalo achi. Apne kemon achen? How are you? Then he said, I don't know any more Bangladeshi, any more Bangla. I said, really? So where are you from? He said, he was from Pakistan. I said, oh, that is interesting. Then he said to me, do you know any mosque? I said, any mosque? Does that mean few mosques? He said, no, one mosque, but few more places people pray. I said, I do not. I need to know. Do you know any Bangladeshi? I said, no. So far I thought that probably no Bangladeshis are here. He said, you are partly right. But 3-4 families and some new people just have come. I said, you know quite a bit about Bangladeshi. He said, yeah, because I have a friend. I said, I see. Is it okay you connect me with him? He said, definitely. I'm giving you his telephone number. I'd call him tonight. So I called him that night, and his wife answered, but he could not speak Bengali. I said, oh, so probably it's a cross-cultural marriage. But she was very polite. And then I spoke to him, and then he said to me that, listen, brother, I have some bad experience with my community. That's why I am not keen to get close to any new Bangladeshi. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. You get good and bad people in any community. I didn't tell him that why I left my motherland, because some people were not so kind. But the pleasure was that majority people were good. Anyway, I said to him, no problem. I don't mind. And he was getting surprised because I was not pushing him. And I never been a pusher. I respect the space. And these things we have learned from our parents. Don't push people. Give them enough space. Let them decide. But you just say, I'm there. So I said to him, this is my number. If any time you feel like, we can talk. Otherwise, I wish all the best. He said, actually, already I'm liking the way you are speaking. But I will do one more test. This is a brutal test, if you do not mind. I said, I don't mind. Try me. He said, tomorrow, between 1 and 2 p.m., I'll drive by. You will stand on the footpath. And the cruel thing is, you will not see me because my car glasses are tinted. But I'll see you. I'll just look at you. And please, please, please forgive me. If I like you, just by looking, I'll stop my car. If not, you will not notice that I was driving, I was gone, because there will be so many cars coming anyway. I said to him, look, I have nothing to lose. Nothing. You want to try me? You try me. And don't apologize. I understand. You got hurt very badly. I get the message. So I have no expectation. He said, okay, that's the deal. Next day, just a red car was stopped in front of me, and he opened the window and he said, Salam, please, would you like to come inside the car? So I made a joke. Oh, so you liked me. You liked me. He said, please, don't ashame me. Or don't ashame me. It was not, it was not a good thing, but you were right. I was hurt badly. I said, look, no pressure. Are you really happy? He said, that's why, I stopped my car. Please come in. So that was my first day and time I met a Bangladeshi. But the story didn't end there. There was something more to learn from. There is a saying that some people, they're always attracted to troubles. Mm-hmm. That's me.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Or you can put it another way, nice way, that once you have a habit, always you have that habit. Mm. You cannot get rid of it easily, you cannot get changed. I went there and he took me to another place. 3 Bangladeshis, they were skilled people and they were working. He took me to them and they were so appreciative to find another Bangladeshi. They said, you must stay with us at least for a few hours and we will cook mullet fish, a special fish we never tried in Bangladesh, and you love it. So he said, you have no other choice but to stay, because I'm not driving you back, taking you back until we have some food. That was nice, but they received a telephone that few new people, they had a fight, and they were going to come to that place that I was visiting for a reconciliation. They said, you got to stay longer. And the brother who picked me up, he was one of the most senior ones. So he was needed there. I said, oh, all right, I'll stay. The story ended that within half an hour, the whole group, they said, our new brother Farid, he will do the reconciliation. I said few things, and somehow they understood that this new guy, he has experience. So I asked the senior people, 3 seniors, that according to our cultural custom, we respect our seniors huge. So I sought their permission. That, look, I'm a new guy. What do I know? Nothing. But only if you are happily putting the responsibility on me, I want you to supervise, but I can solve it quickly. They said, go ahead. I solved it. Within an hour, I made everything emotional. They hugged one another, they cried, shed tears, and they made the promise, we will not do it again because we are now living in foreign lands. We are one another's family. So I was happy that I did a good job. And my first involvement started with my reconciliation process. That was good, but that night I could not return to my place. They had no telephone. I could not telephone them. I was worried. They were worried. Why? Because one of those new boy, he was 1 year older than me, 26, very young, very robust. He held my hand and he said, you are my friend. You have to stay with me tonight. I said, I can't. But then he was becoming sick. He started panicking, restlessness. We took him to the doctor. Doctor said he's fine. But he was saying, I'm not fine. I feel scared. I feel alone. You stay beside me. And you say some prayer. I'm feeling scared. Whole night it went like this. Next day when we took him to the hospital, instantly he had a heart attack and he passed away. Very sad. My first friend.
And yet you were there. You were there when he most needed
I was
someone.
there with him in the hospital.
And that night when he needed someone, you were there. Mm.
Yeah. So I was happy meeting with them, but the positive side is that I could contribute. And that was my joy, my happiness, that I could contribute. And also, in that incident, in a sad occasion, all other Bangladeshis from different parts of North Island, they gathered. And they said, we need Farid for our community. And that's how my journey began with my own Bangladeshi community. Happiness and sadness.
Kind of life, isn't it? That is an extraordinary story.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Wow. Here I